Welcome back to Harmonize Your Life, Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color with your host, Dr. Toni G. Alvarado. I hope you're ready for another exciting conversation, enlightening conversation, inspiring and encouraging conversation. This is the month of June, and we have been talking to women who have been a member of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. We started this network in June of 2020 during the pandemic, and we've been going strong for a full year with a group of women who are concerned about self-care for themselves and for one another. And we've had encouraging and inspiring stories all month long, and today will be no different. I will be right back with our guests for this week in just a moment. Again, I am glad to have you with us today, and I'm excited about our conversation. I have someone in the studio with me today that I'm very excited to talk to and to have her share with you. And when we're done, you'll understand why I had her come on our podcast conversation today. Today, we have Stephanie Allen, who is our guest today. And I want to read you a little bit of her bio, and then we'll get into our conversation. So Stephanie Allen was born in Kenitra, Morocco, North Africa, raised in Seattle, Washington. Miss Allen has lived in the Atlanta metropolitan area for over 30 years since coming here for college in 1983. In May of 1987, she received her Bachelor of Arts degree in economics from Spelman College, and in May of 2018, obtained her Master of Arts degree in Liberal Studies from Clayton State University. With over 20 years of experience in higher education, having worked at Spelman College, in senior administration and interim director of residency life, Bennett College for Women, director of housing and residence life, and the College Board Educational Associate. Ms. Allen has been serving for the past 6 years as the executive assistant to the vice president for student affairs at Clayton State University. Her newest role at Clayton State is that of professor teaching CSU 1000. Mother of the world's most beautiful daughter. Amen. It's a sorry dog that won't wag its own tail. Miss Kendall Allen, who is Miss Allen is also an ordained deacon, teacher, minister, worship leader, and at Grace Church International under the leadership of Bishop Alvarado and yours truly, Dr. Toni Alvarado. In her spare time, Miss Allen loves to cook, travel, and enjoy time with close friends and family. She's very passionate about student affairs, professional affairs, and the like. Miss Allen's desire is to help students start their college journey with a solid foundation. You hear that? With a solid foundation that will help them successfully navigate and ultimately complete college. I asked Stephanie to come on the podcast because I am so proud of her and the way she has embraced her wellness journey. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to talk about becoming consistent. That's our theme or our topic for today's conversation, becoming consistent. And I've watched Stephanie become very consistent over this past year, particularly concerning her wellness, her health, and her self-care. Stephanie is no stranger. She and I are no strangers to one another. As you heard, she has been a member of our local church since the beginnings, just about since the beginning of our local church. We've known each other now over 30 years. Our children have grown up together, and the Lord has knitted our hearts together in mission and in relationship. She is a sister beloved, and I am so delighted to have her in the podcast studio with me today. Will you welcome Miss Stephanie Allen to our conversation? Yay! Stephanie, I keep saying I told Jonathan I got to give me one of those applause machines. My guest, it can go yay and clap and all that other good stuff, right? But thank you for coming in the studio with me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you in the podcast studio, and I'm just excited about what you're doing, Stephanie, and the way, as I said in your introducing you, I'm very, very excited and proud of the way you have embraced your self-care journey, your wellness journey. I'm so proud of you for that.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
So just talk to us a little bit about your journey, Stephanie. Talk to us a little bit about your journey and just wellness. Why is self-care important to you? Why is wellness important to you? And, just your, when I look at your posts, a lot of times, I remember when you started working out over this past year, particularly, and you joined the Self-Care Network, you started talking about how you've done it before, and then you will fall off, and you were, kind of, saying, I'm do this again. And all of us just got in there with you. And we were like, you got this, Stephanie. People were posting and everybody, yeah, Stephanie, you got this, you can do it. And we have really watched you take this thing and really become consistent. And you've done it. You're doing it. You're doing it. And so I just want you to share a little bit about your journey in self-care, your journey in wellness, and why it's important for you to become consistent.
Thank you. And I truly do appreciate the encouragement that you provide, and just sharing how proud of me that you are, that we ain't on here to cry, but that
I keep tissue in the studio just for these moments.
That touches my heart, because my weight, my journey, my health has been a struggle for me. I think I've probably always been round. My mom always says that, look at your little round self. My grandmother would say that.
Look at shapes. We all have shapes, right?
Right.
And it's okay. We love pears, right?
Absolutely. But I came up in a family where women in my family are short.
Okay.
My brothers, my father, are all over 6 feet. I am 4'11" and a half. But the women in my family were round with larger breasts. And when you first met me, I was round with larger breasts, and always just felt like I could do anything, but in reality, I really couldn't do anything because of the weight that I was carrying.
Okay.
And I could get out here and try, but I wasn't going to be out there long. But I never really knew how to get the weight off. Never really sought any help in how to get the weight off. Even having a breast reduction, I felt like,
I remember when you had the breast reduction. I felt
like I had finally done something, but what I said was, oh, now I can see my stomach.
Okay.
And still had a W, and I always say that, a W on the end of my clothing. That has been my goal, to get the W off the end of my clothing, the size of my clothing. But for me, there were lots of stops and starts. When I had my daughter, I had lost weight prior to being pregnant with Kendall. And the weight I gained in pregnancy, I lost immediately after having her. but I didn't go into a let's keep this up. I just kind of, you know, went right into motherhood mode, and I'm doing my focus was her. For the last, my daughter will be 20. And for the last 20 years, that has been my focus. I have not been a priority.
Okay.
And every now and then I would say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And I would have a success. And then, because I always just felt like, oh, I don't have nobody to encourage me. And, you know, woe is me. And I would get into that kind of pity place. I would stop. And so when the pandemic hit, when COVID hit, and my institution was shut down, and we went to working from home before the chancellor kind of released us to be able to slowly come back, I was sitting here, my daughter was home, and she experienced some chest pains. And I rushed her, you know, to urgent care. And that the chest pains were a result of stress in this pandemic and all of the immediate shifts that happened.
Yeah. And she had to come home from college, I remember. And she was just starting.
She was just in her first year.
And then having to vacate her campus. I remember that. And because Ariel had to vacate Spelman, and that was hard for our kids.
Absolutely. But I looked at her at 18 years old. I've had stresses, but it never has manifested itself in that manner. And I just said to myself, you know what? One, I can't just leave her here. If something happens to me, you know, what is she supposed to do? But I also was concerned about her. And so we got to get out here and start doing something to relieve this stress. I felt like the walls were closing, and I've never worked from home. And certainly not in a pandemic. I always envy people who work from home, but I realized that's just not me. I like the interaction of people. But the pandemic, I was in a place where I felt like I couldn't even go outside my house because there was so much out there. You know, if you open your door, you can get it. If you touch the car handle, you can get it. And all of that.
Going to the grocery store.
Absolutely. All of that was just, you know, building on and building on and building on. And then I'm just sitting here working and eating, literally, on the couch, eating, working, not getting out, because at work I have the opportunity to get up, go to other buildings, or even just walk in my own building, engaging with the students and things like that. And so all of that was taken away. And so when we had that incident, I just said, okay, I got to get up and do something. If it's nothing but get out here for 10 minutes and just get some air. And so I slowly started. I would do 10 minutes, then up to 30 minutes. And then I just started increasing and pushing myself. And I was like, oh, a whole week went by and I got out here every day. And so that just kind of encouraged me. I began to increase my water intake because you know, if you drink water and you take these vitamins, you won't get it. And I didn't want to get COVID. I didn't want to get anything near it. But that just kind of started my journey. And I figured out that while it was an issue with Kendall initially, it was me wanting to just live through this that pushed me to every day get up and do something. And
wait a minute. Now you just said something, Stephanie. And you know, I told you before you came on, these conversations are very organic, right? Yeah. I have thoughts in my head about where I want to take the conversation, or at least the topic. And I may throw out questions, but then I always tell my guests, the conversations are organic. And so if we hear something or we pick up on something, we kind of follow that rabbit trail and see where it's going to lead us. You just said something. I wanted to live through this. That's that. I don't think we should gloss over that. Because you're talking about that. I wanted to live through this because a lot of times you know, we just become victims of circumstance. I mean, with the pandemic, there was nothing we could do about it.
Right.
We were all subject to whatever was going on, but we all had to make some decisions on how we were going to live through it.
Absolutely. And for me, it was, I literally sat here in a place of fear, thinking I cannot leave my house. And in the first couple of weeks, and I mean, I got out to get to the grocery store, but in the first couple of weeks, I cannot leave my house. I am stuck here. You know, I'm working 8 to 5, and then after 5, I'm just here. And I put those stressors on myself, and I made myself sick and believe that, you know, I could really die like right here, because I don't know how people are getting this.
Yeah.
And, you know, is it going to come under the door? And, you know, we're spraying cans of Lysol, and, you know, can I die?
If you cough a little bit, oh Lord.
Absolutely. I would be resting and cough and say, come on, God, now look, I don't need this. I hope this ain't wrong. You know, I just was making my own self sick, and like, I have to be able to get through this. I got a kid, I have family, I have friends. I cannot die because I'm creating this world and this thought that I will never go beyond my front door.
Wow. So you were having real panic attacks.
Absolutely. And not knowing that that's what they were. But yes, okay. I experienced crying and just feeling bad. Like, are other people experiencing this? Do other people feel like that? And I just, a girlfriend, I was on the phone with her, and she said, just get in your car and drive somewhere. You don't have to stop. Just get in the car and drive. And I got up one morning and I did that. And I was like, you know what? This was so freeing to I went down the street and came back. But I had created in my mind, there's this pandemic out there, and if I just as much touch the car door, I'm going to get it.
Wow. And you know, Stephanie, you were not alone in that. I mean, you know, we through this pandemic, and particularly in the beginning, people were really, all of us, it impacted all of us emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, physically. All of us. I mean, I remember going through just moments. One of the reasons I started walking more was to manage my own emotions, because you know, the shutting down, the worry, and I'll never forget how worried I was about even doing live drive-through communion. Oh Lord, are we gonna, you know, we gonna be having a super spreader event? Are we gonna be, you know, making people sick? Are we gonna get sick? Are the people gonna get sick? It was all of that going on in my mind, and I was seriously very, very stressed out about it. And even one of the reasons I started the SelfCare network was because I had already started the podcast. But I had women reaching out to me from all over the country, places that I had gone to preach, women that I already knew, that were reaching out to me saying, you know, are you doing anything about helping us with self-care? I'm depressed. I'm lonely. I'm fearful. I mean, you know, we had people dying around us. Every day we were hearing these numbers on the news, you know, and then we had a different administration, and you know, that was crazy about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just stopped watching those White House briefings. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. But so it was during that time though that you decided to live through it. And it was during that time that we connected even more around the whole self-care piece with the network. When I launched the network, you joined, but you decided to be more consistent. I'll never forget the first post you made. And that was actually when I invited you to come into the network. And I was like, Stephanie, come on in to the SelfCare network, and we can help encourage you. You put that post out there about having started and stopped so many times before. But this time you were determined to be consistent.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about what were some of your past and maybe even some of your current struggles in being consistent.
My biggest struggle, past, and I still struggle a little bit with it now, was doing this by myself. I have some introvert tendencies, but I have a whole lot of extrovert tendencies. Okay. And I felt like I was just out here doing it by myself while I never invited anybody to come along with me. That was one of my biggest struggles. I don't want to walk by myself. I don't want to exercise by myself. I see people out. They always have at least one person with them, someone just to chat with or what have you. And I didn't have that. But again, I didn't really invite anyone either. And certainly in this pandemic, you don't really know where people are just in being in close quarters with someone else. Okay. I wasn't going to wear a mask out here walking. And so if it was someone who was that concerned, then we weren't going to be able to do that together. Okay. But that has been my biggest struggle, is doing things by myself. I was challenged a couple of years ago just to go to the movies by myself because I've never done that. Okay. I just don't. The only place I really go by myself is to the grocery store. That I like going to by myself. I just enjoy the company of other people. And so that has always been. And that's what stopped you. That's what, like, I may start with someone. I've started with other people. And the minute they can't do it, okay, I'll sit on the couch too. Right. Okay. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready. And if they never got ready, I never got back out there. Okay, so your challenge, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to us will say, and I'll say for me, I had that challenge when I first started because, and my challenge was not necessarily what others was doing, but I was waiting on my husband to do it. And so it's the same thing though. It's the same thing because when I got serious about it, I was married. And so I was trying to make Bishop put him on the track with me. I was trying to make him come along on my journey, and if he didn't do it, if he didn't feel like doing it, then I wouldn't do it. So I understand it because exercise is more fun when we do it in groups and stuff. I've done boot camps. I've done, you know what I'm saying? And one of the reasons I do that is so that I can be around other people. I've been members of gyms. I have a home gym, but I was going to the gym, not because I didn't have equipment at home, but because I wanted to be around other people. But at a point, we had to decide to do it, whether others. So what was your turning point? How did you overcome doing it by yourself, or the need to have to do it with other people, or the need to do it without someone, or figuring out to do it without someone came in this pandemic. Okay. And it was, I got to get up and do it. And I can't wait on someone to say, yes, I can do it. No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do it today. It really became about me and wanting to figure this out for me and better myself. And then I found that there are people who are out here doing it, who we can text and be accountable and text and encourage. I also found that I do enjoy walking by myself because I have my worship music on. That is an opportunity for me and God. I walk, I cry, I sing, so if someone else is with me, that they're interrupting that time I have set aside to really just commune in particular with God. I can do it with someone in the evenings because I've already had my time in the morning. Like I have a girlfriend, we'll connect in the evening and we can chat and, whatnot in the evening. But I really enjoy now my morning time because nobody else is out here. I've met a couple of ladies, but they're not asking me to walk with them. We just say hello. But this is my opportunity to worship and to thank God for the day and just get myself together for the day. So I don't have to have someone to do it with. And
wow.
that has helped me, because I did use that. That was my excuse all the time. I could do it by myself for 2 days, but on day 3, I need somebody to do this with. And that has shifted now. I'm good with just me.
And that's the key. I heard you say, I'm good with just me. And if you're listening to this and you're listening to Stephanie encourage us, you need to write that down. I'm good with just me. Because what we have to understand is your self-care journey, our wellness journey, our self-care journey is our journey.
Mm-hmm.
And while other people may be on the journey with us, other people may join us on the journey, other people might encourage us on the journey, may give us high fives, but at the end of the day, it's my journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's my wellness journey. It's my self-care journey. It's my fitness. It's my health. It's my wellness. And so you're right. You gotta be okay with it just being you. I hope this is not too loud. I don't know why my yard people decide to come and do my yard while I'm in the middle of interviewing Stephanie with all this good stuff that she's saying. We'll wait until this moment. They've been here all day. And I hope this is not too loud, Stephanie. Is this too loud?
No, it's not. Not for me.
Okay. No. John, my son John says, "Ma, it's okay. It makes it real. It makes people know that you're real." Okay. So, right. So I got a real life with a real yard people outside cutting my real grass.
Right.
Okay. I'm on a real podcast studio interview. All right. So one of the things you had to overcome in becoming consistent, Stephanie, I heard you say, was I had to become okay with it being just me.
Mm-hmm.
And not waiting on other people. Not doing it when other people don't do it, I don't do it, or whatever. Is there anything else that you found as a struggle, or what other things that you have to overcome or institute? I heard you say I learned how to walk by myself. I got my worship music. Was there anything else that you had to do to become consistent?
I had to just overcome telling myself, "Oh, you could do it tomorrow. Just go ahead and sleep in, or you have a lot on your plate today."
The self-talk.
Absolutely. Or you've got to go and do such and such. You don't have time to fit that in. My own, the person who sits on your shoulder talking in your ear. I still, there are times in the morning where, 10 more minutes. And I'm like, no, get up. If you do 10 more minutes, you're not never going to get up.
Yeah.
So I have to encourage myself, like, no, Stephanie, you got to get up and do this. You have been doing well. Don't let, this one time stop you, because you know how you are. So you have to. And that's different from if your body is just tired and you just need that moment.
Yeah.
That's a different place. But mine was every morning that alarm went off. You know what? You could come home and do it. And knowing full well, if I've worked a full day, I'm not really coming home to put in, 45 minutes, an hour. I may come home and do 15. Then I have really cheated myself. I mean, movement is movement, but I feel like I got to do more than 15 minutes to feel like I'm doing something. But I also know if I'm going in the office, when I come home, the last thing I really want to do is exercise. I want to, relax from the day. So that was, and some days continues to be a struggle. Talking myself out of getting up and doing it. I remember when the church, the first time when we did the Lenten fast. I said, first of all, I'm going to get up every morning and be a part of prayer.
Okay.
And so if I'm up and I'm participating in 6 a.m. prayer, why climb back in the bed? Just come on, put your workout clothes on during prayer and you can hit it. So that helped me start to kind of overcome and start not those 40 days, not talking myself out of getting up and doing it. Because I'm up, I am participating in prayer, I'm alert. Go on, do this, and then you've done these 2 things, and you can do your day.
And you're done.
Yes.
And you're done. That's why I work out in the morning, because I know me. I'm not going to do it in the evening. Only thing I'm going to do in the evening is probably yoga. And I might walk in the evening, or I might ride a bike in the evening with Bishop. But my serious hit it workout, where I'm really hitting it like that consistently, is going to be in the morning, because I'm a morning person. So what I heard you say there, Stephanie, I heard 2 things in what you just said. I heard you say, you said that you had to change your self-talk, number 1. Because you were talking yourself out of getting up. You were saying, I'll get to it tomorrow, or, I'll do it later. Then I also heard you say you tapped into the best time for you. Because you said, I know if I work 5 hours, if I work 8 hours and then have to deal with traffic or whatever and get back home, I'm not going to do it. So I heard you say, in being consistent, number 1, you had to become comfortable with doing it with just you, learning that you were enough. Then you had to change your self-talk, and you had to set yourself up for success by doing it at a time that works best for you, knowing you. When working out works best for you.
Right. One other piece I'll share is I'm a single parent.
Okay.
And so certainly as a single parent, you do it all A to Z. I mean, even I have friends who are married who do it all A to Z. But one of the other pieces that I felt I allowed to hinder me was I always said to myself, I can't afford to do this. I never thought about just freely walking outside. That's free. I always said, because I watch other people, I can't afford to go to do a gym membership. I can't afford boot camp. I always had that I can't afford in front of
mentality.
Why I really just could not get out here and take care of myself. And so certainly COVID, the walls coming in, figuring out all I got to do is walk outside, took away the excuse of I don't have the money to do this.
Okay.
And it took away, I don't have the time to do it. I don't have nothing but time. I'm not commuting. I'm getting up and coming down the stairs to work. So money and time can no longer in this season be my excuse or reason for not taking care of myself.
You're right. And you know what, Stephanie, I always say, what I tell people all the time about that whole money piece and time piece, really, because money and time are 2 things that we have to budget, right? We have to, because once you spend it, it's gone, right? But the truth of the matter is we're going to spend the money and we're going to spend the time.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
And I tell people all the time when they say, I can't afford this, whatever, you either going to pay to be healthy or you're going to pay to be sick.
Absolutely.
So just like you started out by talking about you all had to go to that emergency room or that emergency room visit, or that urgent care visit, that costs.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a bill. I had an incident last year, early in the pandemic, where I had to be taken to the hospital because I was having a rapid heart rate. And I am still, this month, I'm making my last payment to the ambulance for that ambulance. I told them, listen, unless my head cut off, don't ever put me in another ambulance. Take me by car.
Absolutely.
$3,500 bill, Stephanie, that I had to negotiate down to $1,800 to pay off. And I'm paying. I said, put me on the payment plan. I ain't paying y'all at once. But I'm making my last payment this week to that. Wow. But the thing is, it costs.
Yes.
It's going to cost us in co-pays or medicine or prescriptions, whatever you want to call it. It's going to cost us. So you might as well pay a little money. You might as well spend a little time and being healthy. And I appreciate that you invested. You joined the SelfCare Network. which is not expensive, but you made an investment.
Yes.
You invested your time in getting up and going out. You had to buy sneakers to go outside. Sometimes you had to put a jacket on. You had to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? You had to spend the time in doing it. You made the investment in yourself.
And I'm seeing the return on that investment.
Wow.
I am seeing, that's one of the things that pushes me when I don't want to get up and do it. I am seeing the return on my investment.
Wow.
And it's high. And I'm like, okay, I like this. Let's, let's keep going.
I'm like, you're looking good, girl. Looking good. And now you got your little bodyguard and all that. It's been good to you.
Absolutely.
It's been good to you. But listen, so Stephanie, besides becoming consistent, has it done anything for you psychologically, emotionally? Talk to us. Has it done anything for you there?
It has, psychologically and emotionally, because as I was becoming consistent, I noticed on those days where I didn't get out and do something, I felt different. Mentally, emotionally. I have experienced some challenges within my own family with some health concerns. I am in that group of people who are caring for aging parents, and my parents don't live close. But in the challenges that they have, you take that on, and that the journey that you walked with Granny. But one of the things I realized was getting out and getting that fresh air and walking also gave me that opportunity to just kind of woosah and breathe and think through and think clear, so that with a few of the challenges we experience, I could have a clear conversation with my siblings and with my parents, about their health and about things that they were experiencing versus being wound up about it and just being, on the edge or at that place of just popping off. I would, I have my moment. I know, I'm going to get up and go walk. I've even instituted walking after I eat. So even as the day has gone, I still take some time, 15, 20 minutes to go out and kind of get that night refresh before I really settle in for the night. But I noticed that when I do get wound up and I do have these emotional days, emotional moments, or just my own psyche, just things going on in my own head, work, children, all of that, this has helped me.
It evens us out,
It does. It brings an even, it brings a calm. It does all of that. And it just makes me feel better. I've accomplished something. And when I don't do it, I don't feel as accomplished.
Yeah. And it really does have an effect on us emotionally, psychologically, mentally. Exercise definitely improves our mental health, and it improves our emotional health. And, we feel like we can handle the stressors of life.
Absolutely.
Stressors. It doesn't make you live in a utopia place where nothing ever goes wrong or things don't happen, but you just you can handle it almost a little better.
I'm more alert. Yeah. When I do this in the mornings, I work out, I come back in and, shower, prepare for my day. I'm like, yes, let's go.
I can do it.
Versus, if I'm dragging, I'm probably dragging. I got to have tea and Coca-Cola and a chocolate bar, all that to get me,
prophecies and profits.
all that to get me going where I'm getting some natural high.
Yeah,
natural energy,
endorphins. Yes,
absolutely. Off of
natural endorphins.
Absolutely.
Good. You did the fitness challenge, Stephanie. You did the fitness challenge. How many steps did you average a day in the fitness challenge? I did that fitness challenge. For those of you who didn't know, we did a fitness challenge back in May, the whole month of May, 31 days. We did that in honor of my 58th birthday. And I challenged the women to walk. And Stephanie, you were one of those that took that challenge, and you ran with you still. I saw you last night posting your steps. So how many steps are you averaging a day now?
I am in that challenge. I averaged about 8,000 steps a day.
Wow.
And I'm working to keep that up. I really, your challenge was 5,800 steps a day. And I just said to myself, I can do that, but I can do more than that. I just, I've got to learn. There was a point in my journey where I just kind of was afraid to do stuff. Even walking in my neighborhood, I would just kind of do a circle, and that gets to be monotonous. And I was afraid to venture out, but I have learned how to just push myself and walk in another neighborhood. I found a stick today, or any dog or cat, you can do it. But I was just afraid. And so that I boxed my own self in.
Oh, wow.
But your challenge made me look at it and say, okay, I can do the 5,800, but Stephanie, you can do more than that.
Okay.
And so I started at, like I said, okay, 5,800. All right, go back in the house. No, keep walking. You're not done. Your body's not done. And so that particular challenge, even with the lunges and the crunches and the squats, sore and all, you can do this because you need to do this.
Wow.
You need to challenge yourself. I had reached kind of a plateau of, all right, 2 miles, I'm good. I put it in, let's go. You need to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And I saw, yes, that I can do it.
We plateau, even in working out. I mean, as long as I've been doing it, every now and then I have to shift it up because your muscles have memory. Mm-hmm. And if you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same results. You know that, right? Yes. In other areas of our life, it's the same thing with exercise. So you have to challenge yourself. You have to move beyond what you normally would be doing, so that you can, for me, I started hiking, and I was already walking, but then I started hiking, because if I just keep doing the same thing, I'm going to just even on out.
Right.
And your body won't do it. And you're right. You have to challenge yourself. And so you did that. You're doing it, girl. I mean, you're doing more than 8,000 steps a day now.
I am purposing daily to push myself. I try to do 10, which is the goal that I set. And so whether that's just walking around the house, I have a circle between the kitchen, the dining room, and the hallway. And I'm like, listen, I still need some steps. I'll walk the circle. Because I have figured out I can do it. It's not going to kill me. I may breathe a little hard and I may sweat, but it's not going to kill me. So stop feeling like, oh, all you can do is a mile. You're a big girl. Stop using all that against yourself and just do it.
Oh my God. Just do it. Let's get it. I love it. When you said I have figured out I can do it, that makes my baby leap. It makes everything in me excited, because it lets me know that I am doing what God called me to do in this self-care network, in this ministry. I was talking with Tammy Smith in her podcast interview this month, and she referenced this as a ministry, and I hadn't really considered it as ministry at first. But I see it as ministry. And when you said, I figured out I can do it, that lets me know that this is part of what God has called me to do. And I'm so glad to have women like you on the journey. With Tammy, we talked about non-scale victories. And you talked about your weight loss. And I know you've lost some weight, and you've not lost the weight you want to lose yet. And I know that because you've talked to me about that. You've said it publicly on social media, and you're still working on that. But we talked about some non-scale victories with Tammy Smith. And I see a non-scale victory in you that I don't know if you've noticed or if you've picked up on it, but I see that you have more confidence in yourself now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your esteem has gone to another. Your self-esteem has gone to another. I'm looking at you taking selfies and posting. I mean, seriously. And I mean, your self-esteem and your self-confidence has gone to another level in this past year. And it's, I'm telling you, we can see it.
Thank you. I do finally see myself differently. Okay. I do still have, some struggles because I expected, you see people post up and they did something for 20 days and lost 50 pounds. And I'm like, Lord, I've been walking for all these years and they lost 2 pounds, but I don't know all that they did. But I would agree with Tammy Smith that this is ministry. One of the things that you talk about, something that Bishop talks about, and just in the word that our bodies are a temple. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, I get up before the people. I am a worship leader and I'm the one breathing out hard. Even though I sing hard, I'm asking you to jump, shout, leap, turn around and spin. Yeah. And I'm doing it, but I'm like, God, don't let me fall out in front of these people.
And we don't want to call an ambulance on you after you've done preaching and leading the people in the presence of God.
Right.
That's right.
You all talk about just taking care of your temple, and this body has a ways to carry us. And how can we be out here ministering to people and we all broke down?
Yeah.
I laugh with one of our former musicians. There were times where I would say, let the musicians play. And I'd look over at him and I'd say, I'm too fat. I need to breathe. So just play. And he would just start laughing, but he knew I need a minute.
Well, girl, I'll tell you, you're doing better now, though. I'm telling you, there's a new anointing on your worship leading, too.
I noticed, I will say this, I noticed when I sang at Granny service, mm-hmm. I wasn't out of breath when I finished. Mm-hmm. I noticed that. And I also noticed that I had the strength to keep it going.
You make me cry. Now you're trying to make me cry.
That's okay. It was, okay. And I don't know if y'all know how I feel about your mama, but
thank you for singing at her service.
My honor and my privilege. But I noticed that, I don't normally, even when I do sing that song, I don't go up like you go up, and God gave you that and the bishop. But I said, I felt like I could go up one more time, but I didn't.
You could have. There was another one in you.
But I could feel right. You got one more good one.
You got one more in you, as the bishop said.
Absolutely. I felt different. Mm-hmm. And when I put that microphone down, I wasn't like, I wasn't doing all of that. So that was a non-scale victory for me, because I do push myself to a whole different place when I am behind that microphone on a larger weighted place, or even in this newer body. I mm-hmm. do push myself a lot and real hard when I sing, but I was not, even on this past Sunday, I was not as winded.
Wow.
And didn't need to, even though I asked the musicians to play, it wasn't to catch my breath. It was for the moment. It is where we moment. Yeah. But you all, and you in particular, and I say you all because I sit under you all as leaders, and I've watched your individual journeys. You in particular have taught us about just making yourself a priority. Yeah. And I've been sitting under this ministry 29 years and am just now figuring out how to make myself a priority, and then seeing the victories in making myself a priority. I got a ways to go, and I'm okay with that.
That's okay, but you're being consistent.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. It's like anything else in our lives. If we're consistent, we will see results.
Absolutely.
And your consistency is the key. And you have become consistent, ma'am. And it is showing on every aspect of your being, not just in weight loss, not just even in your exercising, but it's It's showing up in your attitude. It's showing up in your worship leading. It's showing up in Stephanie and your confidence. And I appreciate you for allowing us for walking this journey with us, 29 years in ministry. But I especially thank you for walking this journey, this wellness journey with me over this past year in the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. Let me just do a little station identification for those as we wrap up. So those of you that are just watching us or listening to us, you are listening to the Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with Dr. Toni Alvarado. You can find this podcast on Apple, on Google, on Spotify. You can even find us on the Light. We're also now on the Light Internet Radio as well. And so I'm excited about that. You can go to my YouTube channel and watch this podcast. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want to encourage you, please, ma'am, please, sir, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll always know when a new episode is uploaded. When you subscribe to the podcast, even through Apple or Google or Anchor, you'll also get notification when we upload new episodes. Go to my website, women, and join the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. You heard Stephanie talk about the value that she has found in being a part of this network. We are a network of women who are concerned about self-care, not only for ourselves, but also for one another. We're not only looking out for me. I know it's a self-care network, but it's not about selfishness. Self-care is not selfishness. So we're concerned about care for ourselves, but we're also bringing our sisters along with us. We are encouraging one another. We are challenging one another. We're giving each other high fives. We're giving each other ideas. We swap recipes. We swap stories, victories and defeats. We tell the real deal, okay? And we encourage one another along this wellness journey. So please come alongside us. You heard Stephanie say, being a part of this has been a blessing to her. This ministry has been a blessing to her. And I invite you to sign up and invest in yourself. It's a small investment to make in yourself by being a part of this network. My guest today is Stephanie Allen. She is our dialogue partner on today. You can follow Stephanie Allen on Facebook. Her name is there, Stephanie Allen. Stephanie, are you on Instagram? I didn't ask you that earlier. Are you on Instagram?
I am, but I very rarely look at it.
Okay, so you don't post much on Instagram. We got to get you posted some pictures now that your confidence level is up. What is your IG? I'm going to go on and put it up there for the peoples of God.
See, now I have to go find it because
okay. I'll tell you what, we're going to follow you on Facebook until you get active on Instagram. We want you, unless you got time to find it for me. You got time to find it?
Yeah, I'm finding it right here.
Okay, I'm going to type it in. You just read it to me, and I'll type it in.
Oh, Lord, Stephanie. At MOO.
No wonder I couldn't find you. I was looking for you. Mook. Okay, Mook. That's what she called it.
MOOKIES.
KIES.
Mom, MOM.
Mookie's mom.
920.
920. So you can find her I'm going to put it up there, at Mookie's mom. That's Kendall. 920. Okay. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her on IG. Now that her confidence level's up, she's going to be posting more pictures on Instagram. All right. And so, so we want you to do that. We want you to follow her and let her encourage you in becoming consistent. Thank you again, Stephanie, for being a part of the Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast. Thank you for blessing our audience on today. Do you have one last word of encouragement you want to give as we sign off?
I want to just encourage women, men, whoever are participating or even watching this to just start small. I started small and I have built on that. Join a network like this. This network really has encouraged me. I get a weekly up close and kind of personal with Dr. Toni because of ministry. And she encourages me, and I appreciate it. Even when she doesn't know that she's encouraging me, I am encouraged by words, deeds, actions. And so I just want people to join this, make yourself that priority, and watch the results. Watch the results. Non-scale victories, scale victories, they will come. But just stay in it. Don't give up on yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Don't give up on yourself. Become consistent. You heard all the wonderful things that Stephanie encouraged us in her own journey. I told you this month was going to be a very encouraging month because these women that are part of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network, these are real women with real lives. We are real women with real lives. Y'all heard about people out there, right? Real women with real lives. We are professional women. We are doctors, lawyers, moms, single moms, married, single. Many of us are in our 50s, some in 60s, even we have some in their late 60s, young 30-year-old, 40-year-old women. But we are a network of women that are concerned about self-care for ourselves and for one another. Mm-hmm. Thank you again, Stephanie, and we'll see you all on next week. Hi, this is Dr. Toni Alvarado. I am so delighted about bringing the Harmonize Your Life podcast to you. Would you do me a favor? If you are enjoying this podcast, would you email me at hello@drtonialvarado.com? I want to hear from you. I want your feedback. I want to know if there are any other topics that you are interested in as it relates to wellness, self-care, nutrition, or just overall bringing harmony into your life. Email me, contact me at hello@drtonialvarado.com.